Hello.
Have we got sound this time?
I think we should. Does that say mic there? The one that's moving? Perfect.
Awesome.
Excellent. Mr. Smith's
Great.
just going to come and check. How are we looking?
Better than this afternoon, Mr. Simic. Awesome. Thank you for being here, Mr. Simic, our techno man. Well, welcome to what is our second, but really our first for the families that are watching tonight, 2021 JHPS Foundation Transition Virtual Session.
Well done.
Oh,
Quite a
You
mouthful.
got that out well.
I did. Had to do a 2 takes today, didn't we, this afternoon?
Yes.
So for those families that are watching now for the first time, we have actually presented this presentation today at 2:30. So if you were watching at 2:30 and you just feel like you want to get on again and listen to us talk through it again, that is more than fine.
great.
I'm more than welcome. But if you are were watching at 2:30 and think you're going to get something different,
No.
you're probably not.
Go watch MasterChef Kids.
Absolutely. Or Home and Away or any of those shows that you would normally watch at that time. So I'm going to say, I won't say left and right because to you it looks different to me here sitting here. We've got Mrs. Palmer here who is our current Foundation Learning Specialist, and we've got Mr. Selby here who is our current literacy leader. And we've got Mrs. Roberts here but not on the screen watching. Well, she's watching to make sure that we do a good job, but she's behind the scenes also monitoring the chat bar. So please make this interactive. If you have got any questions at all, you do need to type it in the chat and Mrs. Roberts will answer your questions straight away. But before I do that, Mr. Selby, you need to talk about YouTube.
Yeah, if you can't see the chat, that's maybe because you haven't signed in. So you just need to sign into a YouTube account, which you can do through your Gmail, or if you don't have an account, it'll take about 2 minutes to just make one. It's as easy as making a Facebook account or a Compass account, but then you'll be able to write questions in the chat as well.
So if you just click on the link and you don't have an account, it won't work.
Yep.
So you do need to have a YouTube account. So and Mrs. Roberts is there monitoring that chat.
So throughout the presentation, or the
presentation, yes.
if you
Yep.
have any questions, pop them in the chat and Mrs. Roberts will be able to either type straight back in or we'll be able to answer them as well.
Absolutely. And with the last one, we saw common themes coming through, so we were able to tell the audience about them because there was the common questions coming in. So we will fire away. So very different this year, but we're really grateful that we're still able to actually be able to present this information to you. This is very, I won't say basic, but we're not going to go into as much detail as we would normally if we were going to have, we normally have 6 transition sessions, and with that we have 6 parent information sessions. We can't do that at the moment. We're just going to give you an overview, and then come next year we'll go into very fine detail about what literacy looks like at John Henry Primary School, what numeracy looks like, our specialist program, our expert, everything that we would normally talk to you about. This is more giving you the information tonight about things that you really do need to know before they start A, the transition next week, and B, their 2021 day one.
That's
so
right.
we will give you a very broad overview, but hopefully answer a lot of your questions tonight.
So we'll be
Thanks.
reading from a screen, but this presentation was posted on Compass yesterday.
Yes, it was last night.
If you've had a look through that, that's what we're going to be talking to. So you can go back after and have it all there to refer to as well. So don't feel like you need to write dates or anything down.
No.
It's all in the presentation that was on Compass.
Yeah, perfect.
Last night.
Excellent.
So the first thing we'll talk about is the transition. So like Mrs. Brockhoff said, it is different to what we have done in the past, just obviously due to our current situations, but we are really excited that we have been able to make something work and get your kids in to meet some of the teachers and to get to know our school and some of the other kids that are starting next year as well. So on Compass, you should have received some information about what colour group your child's in and what day they are coming. So we've got 3 different days, either Monday, Wednesday or Thursday. You only come to one of those days. So on Monday the 26th and the 2nd of November, blue, purple and orange group will come. On Wednesday the 28th and the 4th of November, green, red and grey group will attend. And on Thursday the 29th of October and...
Sorry. I've got the yawn. This happens sometimes.
You've been here a long
It's
day.
the heaters.
Long
I'm really
day.
sorry. Thank you, Mrs. Roberts. I was just really intently listening to Mrs. Palmer. Keep
So on
going.
Thursday the 29th of October and the 5th of November, the yellow and pink group will attend. So all that information has been sent to you through Compass. If you haven't got that information, feel free to give Miss Kirby a ring at the office and she'll be able to help you out. If you're having any trouble getting onto campus, also give Miss Kirby a call and they'll help you out as well.
And Mrs. Roberts is putting our school phone number and Miss Kirby's email in the chat now, so if you don't have those details. Now, some of the reason you may not have Compass just yet could be because we don't have your enrolment form. Or we've only recently received your enrolment form and it hasn't been put onto cases. You have to have an enrolment form put onto cases before you can access Compass. So if you haven't got an enrolment form in and you are anticipating, and we've had the interview and everything, please get that in as soon as possible, definitely before next Monday. Along with the enrolment form, now you can either, like Mrs. Palmer said, email it to Georgia, or you can ring the office and that you can drop it off in person. We need a copy of your birth certificate and an immunisation certificate, as well as proof of your address. We have become increasingly popular over the years as a choice of school, and it really is important that only our students who are in the zone are actually coming to John Henry Primary School. So that is critical, please, that you make sure that you do that.
I was just going to say as well, on that information you've got, would have been a gate that's listed.
Yes.
So it's either the front gate, which is on Henry Road, the oval gate, which is near the YMCA childcare, or our staff car park. It is important that your child goes to that gate because that will be the closest gate to where they're working for that afternoon.
Yeah. And there'll be lots, well, when I say lots, there will be all of our
An
staff,
appropriate number
of leadership staff and current foundation staff that will be there to support your child coming into the gates, because unfortunately we can't have parents on site, but we will try and make that transition as easy as possible for you and your children. There'll be fun things for them to do when they come in. We might have a couple of the parachutes and different things, so hopefully they'll be excited to actually come on site and be with us.
And it's probably a good idea that you let your children know in advance that that is going to be the case, that mum and dad can't come into school, so that that's not a surprise for them when they get here, because that might not go so well.
No. And not a long session, 3:45 until 4:30. So for 45 minutes. I know a lot of families go next door to the Henry Road Family Services and it finishes at 4, but they are really flexible and accommodating, and I'm sure if you let them know that the first one is at 3:45, then that will be fine.
The make sure we're not all just standing at the gate while we're waiting. We need to make sure that we're social distance as well.
Yep.
But whatever gate your children come in, that's the gate that we'll let them. We'll go back to at the end of the session as well.
Yes, we will exit the same gate as we do the entry.
Just meet us there.
Yes, absolutely, awesome. Okay,
I was just going to say, the rest of the information is around next year.
Yes,
very
exciting. Sure is.
So the first day of school is going to be Friday, the 29th of January. So a Friday is a fantastic day to start school for Foundation, because it's just that one day. It'll really be like another transition day, won't it?
It sure will.
With those kids just coming in for that day. And then it's Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday from then on for a few weeks, but we'll talk about that a little bit later.
Exactly.
Doors for the classrooms open at 8:50 a.m. each day. They might open a little earlier on the first day of school, and we have some opportunities to take some photos in their classroom their first day of school, because your Instagram has to be really good on a child's first day of school.
Sure does.
And then
not 7:30. Like 7:30 would be a little bit early to arrive here at school.
You would be beating many of the teachers.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
So we'll have all the staff out the front of their classroom so you can see where your children need to be and where you need to pick them up at the end of the day. And normally we will ask the parents to come in and have a little bit of a look, and then we'll kind of shoo parents out so kids can get on with their learning.
We do. Okay, now students are to wait outside each morning for the doors to be open. So there's an announcement that goes over at about 9:15, and it will be from Miss Kirby, and it will say, "Teachers, doors are now open." And that means the students can come in ready to set their day up, put their bags away, and just set themselves up ready to learn. So parents, by all means, are allowed to come in first thing in the morning, and then when that 9 o'clock bell goes, that's normally when you'll see the teachers starting to say, okay, parents, thank you for coming, we'll see you after school. Parents are asked to wait outside the children's classroom to collect their child at the end of the day. So we do learning right up until the end of the day. So 3:15 when our bell goes, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday and Friday, we learn right up until that time. So it's really important that you wait outside your child's classroom until that bell goes, and then they can be picked up. Now, it's recommended that they're picked up for the first couple of weeks by a family member and not encouraged to do it independently or leave at the gate. And that just makes it really smooth for the child. It makes them comfortable. It also allows you to talk to the teacher and to say, hi, how are things? And just to have that general building up of a relationship. If they're going to YMCA or the after school care, they will come across and get the children at the end of every single day and walk them back. And that happens for the whole of term one. So they don't allow them to just go to after school care themselves. They will come and collect the children and take them there. And if they're going to go home a different way, for example, it could be a sibling that's coming to pick them up, or it could be an auntie or uncle or a grandma or a grandpa. If anything changes from the normal, please let your child's teacher know, because we're pretty protective over our students, and when they come, we tend not to let them go until we know the right person is picking them up. So there has been known to be, no, you can't go with that person. We don't know about this. So make sure you let the arrangements be notified.
And we will check.
We will
just
always
to make sure
check.
we don't want anyone going home with the wrong person or with no person.
Exactly. Yes, that won't ever happen. Awesome.
So our uniform is done through Beliza. So Beliza are in Bald Road in Pakenham, and they are fantastic.
They are brilliant.
So we have a formal school uniform, a sports uniform and a house top. So our formal school uniform is for the girls, it's a dress, and there's also a white top and either pants or a skirt.
Yep.
And for the boys, there's a top and either pants or shorts. They can wear either pants or shorts. It doesn't matter, whatever they prefer. And with our formal school uniform, we just wear all black shoes. So no coloured ticks or bright shoelaces, needs to be all black. And then with the sports uniform, they wear that the whole day that they have PE, and we'll let you know closer to next year what day that will be for your child's grade. So they don't need to get changed or anything before PE. They just come into school that day, and so there's a complete different sport uniform that they can wear. And the shoes for that can be black, they can be all black, or a mixture of black and white. But again, no colour on those shoes. And then there's a house top, which we wear on Fridays, and that comes as part of your school fees. So once you've paid your fees, then your child will receive their house polo top that they can wear on a Friday. And
some families have already paid their fees, so they're going to actually wear their house polos to the transition sessions, which is going to be fantastic. And listen, to be honest, it's random how your houses are selected. If you've got older siblings here, you will be in the same house as your siblings, but other than that, we can't, I like the colour red, so I'm going to be in red. I actually love the colour yellow and I'm in right house, but that was just fortunate. So they're random, but you will get a house polo and they're allowed to wear that every Friday. Sports uniform, you'll let them know that at the beginning of the year, which days they are required to wear their uniform through the timetable. So don't worry about that until the start of next year, and you'll get a very clear timetable of what days your children have their specialist classes and what uniforms they are allowed to wear on those particular days.
Labels. So label everything. Label their shoes, label the socks, label the lunchboxes, label each compartment that goes in the lunchbox, label the lid and the bit that screws onto the lid. Label everything. Mrs. Palmer, what is the best labels that don't fall off?
The best ones are probably the sticker ones, or for all the containers, or a good permanent marker, but keep checking if it's permanent marker to make sure it doesn't come off in the wash. For clothing, it's probably the iron-on ones. Even sew them on so it can't be fall off or anything like that. Writing on the impermanent texture on the uniform does make it hard to read sometimes. So often we pick one up and we're like, we know this has got a name, but we just can't read it.
Yes.
So if you do the permanent marker, just keep checking it every now and then to make sure it is still clear. If it is labelled, it is a much higher chance that you'll get it back.
If it's not labelled, it's almost a zero chance that you'll get it back.
Yeah.
There are so many children here And if it's got no name on it, well, there is no way for us to know whose it is.
And we do try really hard to get things back. If your child does misplace something, usually if it's got a name, a couple days and it turns up again.
Normally finds its home, doesn't
Sometimes
it?
it goes home in another school bag and it will re-emerge a few days later, but it generally does come back if it's got a name on it.
Our learning spaces are centrally temperature controlled and they are really generally warm. They're between 21 and 26 degrees. So really a long sleeve shirt, you're probably better off with a short sleeve shirt and a jacket, and then they'll take the jacket off once they come inside and pop it in their bag or their locker. Put it on to go outside and then take it off again. So there'll be a lot of that throughout the day just because they are really hot spaces that we work in and we don't control those. They're all centrally done from Melbourne. So the easier the better for the students. But yeah, label.
Let my son take his jacket in term 1.
You didn't let him take his jacket? No, in term 1 it's warm.
I've never seen your son with a jacket ever. He's always
All
shorts
on
and t-shirts.
pants. Yeah.
They lose things.
Yes.
Mrs. Roberts, you've been tapping away. Is there some questions that we
No.
could answer? No?
No, just going back over black runners.
Yes. Yep.
Black food, as long as they're black with formal.
Yes.
One thing is we do have a lot of second-hand uniform that we would normally sell with
In
parents
transition.
come in. So we do have a second-hand uniform shop online.
Online. Yes, if you go onto our website.
Compass,
Yes.
we'll put some stuff
Absolutely. So if you go onto our website, there is a second-hand uniform shop online. So we'll put that out for you.
And
so you can,
the things are really still really good
Oh,
quality.
absolutely.
We've only been open a couple of years, so nothing's really old.
Yes.
no.
So they are fantastic.
The other
quality.
thing would be don't race and get your shoes as soon as the shop's
No.
open because your kids will grow out of them by the
They will
time
grow.
that school starts. So leave that one, not right till the last minute, but leave it as late as you possibly can. And just remember, because it is something that families get stuck with, any bit of colour on them is not acceptable. So they need to be either...
Even their hair ties have to be in the... And
John
all,
Henry
all
colours.
girls need to wear their hair up. It must be in the orange, black and white. Even with the uniform, Belize do offer our families a 10% discount. We will get that date out to you as soon as we know. It's normally in November
yeah.
and they do that quite deliberately because at end of November, even though there might be some growing to do between now and the beginning of the school year, you're pretty safe. And they're really good. They will tell you exactly what you need down there. If you just walk in and say, I'm a family going to John Henry, they will line you up with everything that you could possibly need.
Hats, bags,
Yep,
everything that
everything
works.
else, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, eating times. It's amazing how many times they
We
are
are
given
always
opportunities
eating.
to
We are,
eat.
that's all we do is eat.
Now, we are a nude food school, so any packaging that comes to school will be sent home with them in their lunchbox. I have been known to get the tiny teddies and take the package off at home, tip the tiny teddies into the lunchbox, and off it goes to school. Not really sustainable, but for school purposes, they all think we're wonderful and we are nude food people. So we'll go with that.
Is your son still having tiny teddies in his lunchbox, Mrs. Brockhoff?
He doesn't take the packaging off. He's now in year 9 and he does. He has the
Still has
tiny
tiny
teddies. He
teddies.
loves tiny
Wow.
teddies. Still has them, Mr. Selby.
That's great.
He really does. So we have a snack at 10 o'clock. And traditionally, what are those snacks generally, Mrs. Palmer?
There's lots of yogurts, biscuits, maybe some chips, muffins, muesli bars.
Cabana and cheese.
Yeah, I was about to say our lunchboxes this year are amazing. We get cut up cabana and cheese and
Homemade
lots of
sushi in
Yeah.
some of mine. Yes, this is
Wow.
not. You don't have to.
No.
This is, yes,
This is not the norm. A
There's-
sandwich is fine.
and there's-
Carrot.
Sandwich.
a muesli bar, unwrapped.
Yeah.
Yes.
Those sort of things. Easy snacks
Yeah.
that don't involve a lot of work
No.
for the children when they're at school. Muffins, that sort of thing. Yeah.
Easy eat food. And then at 12:15 they will eat their lunch, and they're given a lot of time to eat their lunch at the beginning because we know that it takes them, by the time they go and get their lunchbox, they sit down, they undo it, and then they eat, then they have to put it all away again. It does take time, so we give them a lot of time to eat before they go outside. And then they have a 2 o'clock fruit break as well. So as you can see, they're constantly eating
Always
throughout the
eating.
day. Just a quick, I suppose, a parent tip if you can. When you first get a new lunchbox, they're awesome, but they are often hard to do. They're very stiff because they are brand new. Make sure your child is able to practice with them at home before they come to school. I know myself when I've bought new containers, their seals are really good, but you struggle with it. So make sure you practice before they come to school. And the same with doing zips and things. The more
Even like
independent.
the squeezy yogurts.
Yes.
Get your kids learning how to do them.
Absolutely.
Or if you you might crack them open first, so when they come to school they can open it independently and feel
The staff will help your child.
Absolutely.
They will.
Yes.
They will help. And we make sure that all of the kids are there eating too. We won't see children go hungry. But the more practice that you can do getting them into the routine, the better it is for them to be independent. Okay, we've drink bottles, water only?
Yeah, just pop water in the drink
Yes.
bottles. It just helps. We often do have a few spills in the learning community, and it is much nicer if it's just water.
And
It doesn't create
especially
a sticky mess.
it usually goes in the bag.
Yeah.
So you'd much rather be drying out a bag than having ants all over it with
Yeah,
cordial or anything
absolutely.
like that, for sure.
The other thing is quite often, especially in term 1 and term 4, when it is those warmer days, we sell Zupa Duper icy bowls. So they're usually for $1. It's generally a fundraiser for the school. But if we are having a special day, or if there's a fun lunch or anything, all that information is on Compass, or will get put on Compass. We do have a canteen that operates as well, that you can order online, and again all that information of the menu and what they can order and that ordering process will be put onto Compass early next year.
And in lots of newsletters.
Yeah, it's in every
Constantly.
newsletter.
It's in everything, yeah. We spoke about the nude food, and often in newsletters we'll put some nude food ideas, and we'll often ask the parents input about nude food too. So if you've got some great recipes that you'd like to share with us about nude food, please email them to your teachers, and we can get those popped into our, we can make a cookbook. No, we won't go there. That's a bit of a sore point, the cookbook, but we won't
Right,
go there.
I'll save you.
You move on.
What should you pack in your official John Henry school bag? So they'll need their lunchbox, their drink bottle, some spare underwear and socks for some obvious, toileting reasons. But also, when it rains, kids really like to jump in the puddles, and if they're doing that early in the morning, we encourage them not to, but it happens sometimes.
You may also want to put a spare pair of pants as well. But if they're not school pants and it's just if they've had an accident, that's fine. If it's just going to live in the bottom of their bag, you prefer to have something there and do a quick change than it take a while to get clean clothes.
The alternative is we sometimes have to ring parents to come up and bring stuff in.
And accidents are common, so
Absolutely.
please don't worry about that, because what happens is they get so engrossed in what they're doing, whether it's playing outside with a friend or doing their work, they actually hold on for as long as they can. And
I don't want to
sometimes
miss
it's too
out what
late.
the amazing learning that's happening.
No.
They've got to find out what happens at the end of Pig the Pug.
Absolutely. So don't be embarrassed if they have accidents. That's
Not at
very,
all.
very common in foundation, and we just make it as least embarrassing as possible. Quick change of clothes, off you
Which
go.
having it in the bag makes it very quick.
Absolutely.
You'll need also just a jumper in the bag. Melbourne weathers, it can be 30 degrees for recess and then 3 degrees for lunch.
Yes.
So also the orange reader bag, which you'll get from Beliza as well, everyone needs to have, and the orange school hat from Beliza too. And if you like Mr. Vickery, you can confuse them. His daughter once said that he hadn't packed her school hat, but it's because they were sitting right next to the orange reader bag.
Very similar.
Yes.
But
Right.
generally, once you're here on the first day, we'll keep their hats at school. So
Yes.
they are here every recess and every lunchtime. We'll just keep them in their tub.
Perfect.
Labelled and named.
Labelled and named, of
Yes.
course.
Now, school supplies. You certainly don't need to worry about going off over the Christmas break and buying them fancy pencil cases and pens and texters and everything, because all of that is supplied at the school. So gone are the olden days when we used to have to go to school and pay our school fees, and then you'd get a school box and you'd take the box home and you'd cover all the books, and then you'd write in their names and texters and everything, label them all. You don't need to do that anymore. That all comes straight to the school, and you won't even know that it's arrived. So that delivery comes to the school. The fees pay for all of those essential items. So like I said, don't buy anything fancy over the school holidays. They certainly won't need that. The school fees also pays for their polo top that we've already discussed. It pays for their swimming program, and if you pay their $210 next year, and if you pay an extra $90, which will take it up to $300, it also pays for their excursions as well. So Mr. Newell is our business manager, and he is happily, kindly taking donations now, and he's even sizing people up for their house polos now, so that they're actually going to be starting to do those. So if you'd like to start paying your school fees now, anytime is a good idea.
And can they do that over the phone?
I'm sure they can ring him over the phone, and I'm
that
sure
what happens?
credit cards.
Miss Gerby?
Yep,
Yeah.
she will take it over the phone. Credit cards.
Perfect.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, perfect.
So next thing we're going to talk about is toilets. So we spoke briefly before about putting a change of clothes in if they do have an accident, but we obviously do try and prevent them from happening. in term 1, we take regular toilet breaks. So we'll encourage the kids to go when they get in the snack eating time around that 10 o'clock after they've been at school for an hour, go to the toilet. Then we, again, at recess time, we do the reminder of when you're outside, don't forget to use the toilet. And again, when they come back in, go to the toilet. So we're constantly going to the toilets and doing reminders. We then start encouraging, once we've been at school for a little bit, start encouraging going at the snack and definitely the playtime, so they're not interrupting their learning time. But of course, if they do need to go during learning time, we do let them go. We're very lucky at John Henry. We do have a lot of toilets.
We do.
So on all our our main learning communities, they've got toilets built in that have internal access as well. But some of the specialist classes are also in portables, and they all have toilets. They're very close as well. So if they do have to go and they're in portables, they go with a partner, so they're always with someone. But generally, once one needs to go, there's a couple kids that need to go, so they go as a little group.
They do. And even when they're outside, they will be going to the same toilets within their learning space. So at the moment, our foundations are in Learning Community 3, and they go to the Learning Community 3 toilets. When they're outside playing at recess and lunchtime, if they want to go to the toilet, they go straight back to that Learning Community 3 toilets. So they have their own set toilet block, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And the other children are not to go to those toilets. So the older,
they've got their own toilet
That's
blocks.
right.
Exactly.
So we have in the start of term 1, we do foundation assessments. So for the first 5 Wednesdays, your child does not attend school, but you will book in for a 1-hour assessment with your child's teacher, and that will be sent out on Compass probably early next year.
Yes.
So they'll come in, you just drop your child off, and then you're free to go and have a coffee or enjoy an hour of peace and quiet. And during that time, your child will work with their teacher and just do a bit of an assessment. We look at some literacy, some math, some oral language skills, and just really get to know your child a little bit better one-on-one with them. There's no right or wrong. You don't need to spend the next couple of months learning things and practicing. Of course you can, but you don't need to. All it is just to know where your child is, so we know what to teach them.
Yeah.
So they
Exactly.
can
Gives
learn
us a
throughout
starting
enough.
point.
Yeah.
Gives us a starting point to continue.
So all that, like we said, that will start. We'll send out the information at the start of next year around how to book on Compass.
Yeah. So their first Wednesday is normally, it's going to be the 10th of March next year, but it's the day after the Labor Day holiday. So for the first 5 Wednesdays, they don't come. But we'll give you plenty of warning about that.
I was just going to say, once we do start on a Wednesday, we do have an early finish, which is the big thing about Wednesday. So we finish at 2:45. So it is half an hour early on a Wednesday. So make sure you remember that Wednesday, early finish. We do send reminders on Compass.
And that's the whole school, not just foundation.
Absolutely.
That's everyone. And it's for the whole year.
Whole year.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so after school activities in term 1, we sort of recommend that we keep things pretty simple during term 1. I've got something here that says devil at home, angel at school. And sometimes we find that in foundation, kids can come to school and work so hard to be on their best behaviour all day and make sure they're playing nicely and using all their energy doing the amazing learning and playing that they're doing, and then they get home and they're a little bit little terrors. They're done.
Very tired.
Very tired. So you might find that they need to sleep a little bit more in those first few weeks, and you may find that the busy after school schedule that you might have of going to the park or going to soccer and footy and XYZ might just need to be scaled back for a little bit as well, just to give your child the best chance of success at school.
Communication. So the way your child's teacher will always be your first port of call. In fact, the foundation homeroom teacher of your child is probably the most important relationship that you will have with the school, and it really does set your child up for success. So you have access to all of our emails via Compass, so you are more than welcome to email the teacher any concern that you have, trying to make an appointment for them, because in the morning and after school it's very busy. Kids are coming, kids are going, so you might not always have that opportunity to say to that teacher, can I just grab you for 5 minutes, because there's probably 20 other parents that want to grab them for 5 minutes. So if you email and say, could I please make a time to speak with you, that is the best best way that you'll be able to schedule a time to sit down with the teacher, whether it's an over the phone conversation or whether it's a face-to-face conversation. And please let your teacher know about anything, any change in routine, any change to what's going on at home, because sometimes the impact of what happens in the learning spaces, and we might say something and go, where's that coming from? Oh, there's nothing changed at school. And then we find out, Grandma's gone away for a holiday for 2 weeks, and all of a sudden Grandma was their stable person in their life, as in they used to go and see Grandma, and Grandma's not around. So it can be the most simplest of things. Just let us know what is going on. And if you hear your child comes home and says anything to you, shoot us a quick email, because we can always help you out. If we don't know about anything, we can't help you. So it's really important. That's the first question. Did they talk to someone here at school? And if the answer's no, then we try and encourage that to happen. So communicate. You can never over communicate with us, which is awesome. Terrific. Allergies. When school starts, some of your children may have allergies, or they may be on medication and require medication throughout the day. Then if that is the case, again, please let your child's homeroom teacher know, and there's paperwork that we need to send home for you to fill out. So Mrs. Horsburgh is in our first aid sick bay, and she attends to all of the students across the school. And she has little alarms going off left, right and centre to let us know when we need to send children over for different bits and pieces. But she will get you to fill out some paperwork and ask for a letter from your doctor if your child has any allergies or is on any medication at all. Please let them know. Birthdays. Now, we do love a celebration here at John Henry, and it was just so fortunate today that we had a little boy who was last year at school turning 12, and his mum, now this is high expectations, guys, but I need to let you know.
Not expectations.
Well,
this is
I'm
not
saying
an
high expectation. So this little boy, mum went off to Krispy Kreme's, must have been within a 25 kilometre radius, is all I can say, went off to Krispy Kreme's and brought back 36 donuts. Made the mistake of walking through the Staff Resource Centre, did see Mr. Bickery, Mrs. Roberts and myself, and of course was so kind and asked us if we wanted to have a donut. And of course, we couldn't say no. Mrs. Roberts did gracefully decline, but Mr. Bickery and I couldn't get our hands on one quick enough. But listen, if you do want to bring in anything for your child because it is their birthday, please just let the teacher know that that's what you would like to do. And your teacher will often let you know how many children are in the class for that to be shared, and will also let you know of any dietary requirements, because not all children can eat all things. And we've had really good success with some families asking, and there have been dietary requirements in the class. So the family have just done an alternative. Still brought something in for that child, but if they've been dairy intolerant, for example, have just brought in an alternative for that particular child. So please let the teacher know if you intend to bring something in for birthdays. Don't have to. Please don't feel like you have to. In fact, lollipops are pretty a common thing, aren't they?
Freddos, lollipops.
Yeah.
Little muffin, cupcake.
Yeah, exactly.
Krispy Kreme, not... Yes, go.
Cut your, with the information sheet, it's actually Gateway Drive.
Gateway Drive.
Not
Okay.
Avonshire.
Yeah. Right.
Avonshire's along the back.
You're right.
So we'll have to get Miss Kirby to send that out again. Jackson sent through to ask the question.
Okay. I don't think we actually put the drives down on the compass. Right.
Cavershire, Henry Road, Staff Car Park.
Okay.
So people are watching Gateway, like Miss.
So the oval gate is the Gateway
Drive. Yes.
And the staff car park is
Caversham.
Caversham. And then front gate is Henry
Road.
There you
Yeah,
go.
beautiful.
There you go. We
Thanks.
learned something.
It
Yes,
must
we
change
did.
at the roundabout.
Yes.
Does
Yes.
No,
it?
Cavershire runs all the way down.
Round. Yes.
Caversham.
Caversham.
Yeah.
That one too. Thanks for clarifying that, Mrs. Roberts. Excellent. And we will send that out again to all of the families. Thank you.
Newsletters. Is that me?
That's you,
Perfect.
Mrs. Selby.
So, newsletters will go out each week, and they will be just from the foundation team. So they will have photos from the week of the amazing learning. They'll any important dates that you need. Stars of the week will be in the newsletter, and there's a newsletter for each individual team. So you're only getting information just for foundation. It's really important that you read these newsletters, because we put all of the information that you would possibly need to know in there, and it saves a lot of questions coming back as well, a lot of confusion. What else do I need to know about that?
The other thing I don't think we've really spoken about is Compass. So we do everything is through Compass. So if you don't have anything else downloaded from a school perspective, apart from Compass, you will still know exactly what's happening at school. If you're having trouble logging on to Compass or don't have your details, like we said earlier, call the office and we can help you out. But definitely keep an eye on Compass. At the start of the year, you're probably thinking, oh my goodness, there's so much stuff getting sent out. But we try and keep you informed as possible. We also like to send out a lot of information that your child has been doing and what they've been learning through the day, and celebrate their successes as well. So Compass is definitely a useful tool that we have.
We send a lot of information home about the great things your kids have been doing as much of instead of saying, how was your day at school today, and your child saying it was fine, and then not really having much else to contribute because they're still processing everything that's happened. You might see that your child has, read The Very Scary Bear, so you could ask about that. And that just leads into some better conversations around positive things that have happened for your children at school.
Absolutely. Assembly. Now, at the moment with COVID, we are doing assemblies virtually, and you are more than welcome if you're on Facebook, and in fact we'll start to do it through Compass too. We do our assemblies every Monday morning virtually, so you'll see us on the YouTube, and it might be a really good idea for you to start watching it with your little young one that's coming next year, so they actually get into the routine of knowing what an assembly looks like. Once we're back on site, traditionally, and I don't know whether we'll actually go back to our full-on traditional model, but traditionally our assemblies have been on a Monday morning where families are invited to celebrate and join in our celebrations here with our students' success. If your child is going to be receiving an award at assembly, you'll be notified the week before, and that allows families that may be working full-time to take time off to be able to come to attend our assemblies, but we will let you know, and we'll let you know either through a phone call most of the time, and also putting it on Compass so mums and dads can come along. But we will have nearly 1,000, we'll have over 1,000 students next year, and our assemblies have hundreds of families there. They just want to be part of our success, and to be honest, they're a lot of fun. They are really a lot of fun, our families. Now, just before we leave, I think what we'll do is we'll just quickly tell you the groups again and the roads that they're going to.
Yep.
So on Monday, we will have Blue Group, and they will be entering the Henry Road. So Monday, Blue Group entering from Henry Road.
And that's just the front gate next to the office.
Yes, it is. On Monday, we will have Purple Group, and they will be entering Caversham Drive, which is what we traditionally call the staff car park.
Right next to the school crossing there.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So that is the Purple Group on Monday. And the last group on Monday is the Orange Group, and they will be meeting on Gateway Avenue, Gateway Road, Gateway Drive.
Next to the YMCA.
Next to the YMCA. So that is for the Monday groups. On Wednesday, we have Green Group, and you'll be entering via Henry Road, so at the front of the office. On Wednesday, we'll also have Red Group, and you'll be entering on Caversham Drive, which we call the staff car park. And on Wednesday, we will also have the Grey Group, and you will be entering on the Gateway Drive. I will get my mouth around that. On Thursday, we will have the Yellow Group, and you'll be entering on Henry Road. And then on Thursday as well, we will have the Pink Group, and you'll be entering on Caversham Drive. So again, we will send that out tomorrow, guys, just to make sure. We'll get Miss Kirby to send it out in again, just so we're very, very clear of the roads that you will be entering from, the exit and entry points. We are done. Any questions, Mr. Roberts?
Jackson has been fantastic. I'm going with one of our dads.
Awesome.
Who's obviously read all the information.
Amazing.
He's answered lots of the questions.
Oh, fantastic.
Oh,
Excellent.
thank you,
Car
Jackson.
park and everything.
Oh, it's
So-
not our Jackson, Mr. Dow.
No.
No, no, we have a...
I don't think our Jackson, Mr. Dow,
Would be all across this? No.
Well,
that may put him in foundation next year.
yes, yes.
Scary.
Yeah, so thank you to the Jackson that's out there that's been answering a lot of the questions for Mrs. Roberts on her behalf and probably answering a little bit differently and maybe, I won't say better, Mrs. Roberts, it's been awesome, so thank you.
And when we have those foundation sessions, you'll see a few of our faces out there as well. And if you do have any questions, any staff will be more than willing to help you. And if they're not sure, they'll find someone who
Absolutely.
can.
And Georgia at the front office again, phone number, email. If you're on Facebook, we often get through Facebook Messenger. Mrs. Roberts and Mr. Bickery and myself manage that Facebook page, and we often get really quick questions. No question in foundation is ever a silly question. For many of you, you haven't done this before, so it is your very first experience. We've done this a lot, but we understand that it is your very first experience. So please.
Mum said, thank you so much, guys, for the session. Mrs. Selby, you can go home and sleep now.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
I love it.
I'm just hoping that someone like
Yes.
Miss Adams isn't watching this and screenshotting, because this is normally what would happen.
Yes.
And I'd get an email saying, I got you falling asleep. I wasn't falling asleep, I was just having a bit of a yawny moment. Do you want to know how many times that's happened in my WebExes?
No, I don't want to know.
Well, when there's no air in the room
It's
and we're
hard.
sitting under heaters,
Yes,
and anyway,
yeah,
I
it is
apologise.
really warm. That's okay.
Yeah.
It did go noticed, and it's all in the banter of our community.
I also think that Miss Boone, Mrs. Palmer, caught one of my yawns. Just saying.
It's been a busy day.
Yes.
It has
I
been.
can't even say week. It's my day one.
Busy
day.
life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guys, thank you so much for joining us tonight. This has been recorded, so you are able to go back and access it. You've all got access to our PowerPoint presentation, and we are just so grateful that we can have the students on site next week, and really looking forward to transition sessions.
And if any of your friends who you know have got children who are coming next year missed this, you can send them that link as well, and this will stay up there, so they won't be able to obviously ask any questions, but they will be able to watch this presentation.
Absolutely. And if you haven't got your enrolment form in, do that
them in.
tomorrow. Please make sure you do that tomorrow. There may not. We are running out of room very quickly, so it's essential that you do that tomorrow. All right, guys, have a great night. Thank you. We look
Thank
forward to
you.
seeing you next